So, Tailwind. Awesome tool. One of my absolute favorites. I would totally not be as successful with Pinterest as I have been without it. That being said, it does have a learning curve, especially at first. There's a lot of stuff that you see when you first log into your Tailwind, and sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense, even though it does in the end. It's very overwhelming at first. So, whoop, didn't mean to do that. Okay, let me fix this. Hold on. Clearly got way too many tabs open. So here's what your Tailwind account will look like when you very first open it. In this tutorial, we're going to go over everything except for scheduled pins, your schedule, and drafts, just because that will be its own video, just because that's kind of the main meat of your Tailwind account, and that'll take the most time to kind of go through and explain. So let's start with the weekly summary page, which is where we are now. This page just, obviously kind of gives you an overview to your Pinterest account. Starting on the left here, it'll show you how many repins you've had this week. It'll tell you how many you have total, and it will say how many you've been gaining per week, and it will tell you whether or not the last week has been above average or not. So even if you're not a statistic or analytic person, which I am not, I do not understand numbers, Tailwind will just take the information that it has from your account and it will present it in an easy to understand way. I can understand what above average means. That means good. If it's below average, that means I have to work a little bit more. So that's that part. And obviously if you click on these links, it will take you to that page. I'm not going to do that now, just because we'll get there once we get to the rest of this, the rest of the content. I just want to go through this page first. So next is the same thing. This is all the stuff that's been pinned from your domain this week. This is the amount of followers you've gained so far this week. It'll tell you what your average is. It'll tell you how much you got last week. It'll tell you your total. You can click here to see follower trends, which is pretty cool. And then at the very bottom, it will show you your recent comments. Nobody really comments on Pinterest. It's not really a thing, so I don't really worry about that too much. And then on the right-hand side here, it'll tell you how much you've completed your account. So these are Tailwind suggestions, which I actually really love. I think that they're great. It's one of my favorite parts about Tailwind. And it will tell you suggestions for things. So it'll say your board only has 7 or 8 pins. You should have 10. It'll tell you if you don't have a description on a board. It will tell you if you're missing a certain setting. Basically anything that will impact the integrity of your Pinterest account, it will recommend a fix for it here, which is awesome. And then here, it's just like billing options. If you switch to annual billing, you can get that for free. Here's your most repinned boards, which is really cool. I like that it has kind of an overview. And then up at the top here, it's your affiliate link. So if you send a free month of Tailwind, you can get a $15 credit. You can also, if you have more than one account, if you have collaborators, you can add them here. Here's their FAQ and knowledge base. I haven't really used it too much just because Tailwind is easy to understand once you get going with it, but they do have really good customer service. I've actually asked them a couple of questions before and they've been very, very prompt with answering. And then the last thing here is just all of your settings, none of which I'm going to go into just because they're pretty standard. It's just, profile, account, billing. You can sync your Google Analytics and all that kind of stuff. So, forget about publish for now. We'll go into that in the next part. Monitor your domain. Click on Insights. And this is a overall look of the content being pinned from your domain. That doesn't mean the content that you have specifically pinned to Pinterest. It means if somebody has visited your domain and pinned a piece of content, that's the type of statistic that will show up on this section. So this actually is really cool. I like this too because I'm a very visual person. It gives you a visual overview of the stuff that people are loving that you are putting out from your domain. It gives you a little graph dude of the last 7 days, shows you how many pinners are pinning stuff from your domain, gives you the potential impression. So that's how many people are potentially seeing your domain content on their smart feeds. And then this stuff you have to upgrade to the really crazy super plan, which I'm not interested in, but if you're into it, go for it. Looks like it would be really, really cool. On the right hand side, you can, if you upgrade, you can get historical data, which I don't really bother with, because if you just go right here, you can just drag. That works for me, that's enough. All I need to see is where that line's going. And you can see, especially with domain content, you will reach peaks and valleys. Like, it won't really trend upwards over a long amount of time. It'll kind of, as different things go viral, it'll kind of bounce up and down. So the next tab is organic activity. This is just, again, it's about your domain. So it's all of the pins that are coming directly from your domain. You can scroll down and see everything here. You can repin, you can comment if you want. It's pretty straightforward. It's just a nice place to get an overview of what people are pinning from your domain. And then the word cloud. This shows you what people are finding, or not what people are finding the most, but what is most popular. So it's an easy way to see, okay, well, the stuff that I'm posting about blogs is doing really, really well. And then meanwhile, the stuff that I'm posting about vocabulary, nobody gives a shit about. So you're going to want to go, however big the word is, those are the ones that you want to go for. If it's a smaller word, those are the ones that either you need to work more to promote, or people just aren't interested in looking at. Track your brand page. Let's go to profile performance. This is all about followers, pins, repins, likes, all that kind of thing. It'll show you what your daily follower growth is here on the right hand side. Your virality score and your engagement score. One thing I really like about Tailwind is that even though they have kind of their own, not buzzwords, but their own terms for things, they tell you what they are. You're not just kind of left to guess. So I don't know what virality means, but I'm just going to mouse over this and it will show me it is total repins divided by total pins. And that's how they calculate that number. That's a 30-day average, and it will tell you if you hit a 30-day high, which is great. You always know whether you're trending upwards or downwards. You're not just kind of, left to figure it out for yourself. Engagement is the same thing. It'll show you how they got that score, and it'll give you your 30-day average as well as your current score. And then your engagement rate is your percentage of pins with at least one repin. The higher this is, the better. Obviously, I've got some work to do if I'm only halfway there. And then you can click. So that's the follower pane. Pins, repins, likes. It'll show you, for the most part, you're going to see trending upwards. There may be some days where they kind of dip and even out. But for the most part, when it comes to your followers, your repins, and your likes, you want to see it trending upwards rather than going up and down. Because when you see it trending upwards, that means that you're pinning the right kind of content that people are, engaged with more than once. It's not just like, oh, I'm interested in this one thing. There's a bunch of stuff that I like on this profile that I'm going to pin. The next section is board insights. This I haven't used it often, but I really, really, really love it, and I should actually optimize it more in the future. This is an overview of all of your boards, so you can organize it by the amount of pins you have, the amount of pins you've pinned in the last 7 days, the amount of followers, the amount of repins, that virality score, and your engagement score as well. You can also organize it backwards, so you know what boards you're creating that aren't taking off so well, and you can either work to improve it or just, trash them or make it secret. Same thing with likes and comments. It'll show you the pins that you've got, the boards that you've got that have the most liked pins, followers, and likes, is what I was trying to say. Optimized content. The only thing you can really use in this section is the pin inspector, just because Tailwind has a lot of strange payment gates on things. I wish that is one of the only things that I actually complain about when it comes to Tailwind, is that they do have payment locks on a lot of stuff that, you know, other places offer as part of their plan. That being said, I understand why it is that way. I just wish that I had access to stuff like that. So within the optimized content section, the only thing that we have access to is the pin inspector, which is awesome. You can search for anything here. So if you're looking for a particular pin, you can type it in and it'll pull it up for you. You can organize them by category, by their board name. You can filter the dates that something's been pinned. You can also organize things by the number of repins they've got, the number of likes they've got. You can see your oldest pin, which is pretty crazy. 2011. Hello. You can schedule a repin. It's really, really handy screen. And the last section is industry trends, another one of those things that's locked. You know, if you want to, you can book a demo of it, but really, nobody's got time for that. And then, other than that, you know, if you want to click on that, it'll just kind of extend everything, so you don't have to keep doing the mouse over thing each time. You can click on the Tailwind icon to get back to your dashboard. And that's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, it's really straightforward. You just kind of have to figure out where you're going, and then it's not so difficult once you get the lay of the land.